Right now at noon, an accused Russian spy who posed with Governor Scott Walker appears to reach a plea deal. Plus, the southeast part of the country is cleaning up after a huge winter storm hit the area. And time is winding down for residents in southern Wisconsin affected by the summer flooding to file for federal assistance.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. Mark is on vacation this week. I'm Josh Breiter. We've got Chris Reese here with your forecast and another cold one out there this morning.
It is another cold one, but still plenty of sunshine by far, and I think a lot of us will appreciate that. I also spy something, Josh.
The sun?
I spy with my little eye something that rhymes with nice.
Ice!
On
Look
Lake
at that.
Mendota. Yes, this southern boy is pretty excited to watch these lakes freeze on over. If you have a date, tweet me. I just want to know when people think this lake will certainly freeze over. The temperature, though, has jumped to 32 degrees already. So it is certainly a warm day with that sunshine. Winds out of the south and southwest at 8 miles per hour. Janesville also at 30, 31 in Monroe, 19 at Black River Falls, same for La Crosse. Guys, catch up. Come on, we're all basking in the warmth over here. We are seeing winds coming out of the southwest at about 8 miles per hour. When you get a southwest wind, folks, that really sends some of the warmer air into the picture, and that's what we're seeing today. But that also does mean there's a wind chill, so it only feels like about 25. So even though that 32 sounds like a warm up, it's still pretty chilly out there. Sunshine will stay in control for now, but we are watching a little deck of cloud cover across the north. We will see how close that gets to our area. I know clouds can be very pesky for those forecasters around here, so we're going to watch that closely. But in the meantime, do expect mainly clear skies to continue as temperatures will eventually fall back into the 20s as we head into the afternoon and evening.
Some good ice-making weather out there.
Perfect ice-making weather, and we will see if that continues.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Right now, Dodge County deputies believe speed and alcohol are factors in a deadly crash. It happened just before 7 Sunday morning on State Highway 1660 near Oxbow Road. Investigators say a 38-year-old Madison man was driving, left the highway, and hit a culvert. He was extricated from that vehicle and taken to an area hospital where he later died. That crash is still under investigation. Sauk County officials are looking for a man who robbed a gas station over the weekend. Emergency crews were called just after 9:30 Saturday night about a robbery. This happened at the Plain Quick Stop gas station in the village of Plain. Officials say the suspect came into the store and demanded cash from the employee. He did not show a weapon, but he said he had a gun. The man got away with an undisclosed amount of cash and the employee was not hurt. Anyone with information is asked to call police. Highway 18 outside Cambridge is back open this midday, but officers are still on the scene. This after a fire inside a restaurant there. It started around 8:40 last night at Giovanni's, and that highway had to be shut down in both directions overnight. Firefighters say no one was injured in that fire. The cause is still under investigation. The accused Russian spy who posed with Governor Scott Walker appears to have reached a plea deal with federal prosecutors. Maria Butina is accused of trying to infiltrate Republican political circles and party leaders during the 2016 campaign in order to advance Russian interests. Prosecutors have said the former American University student was in touch with politically powerful Russians about her activities in the U.S. Today, her attorneys and prosecutor filed a 2-page request for a change of plea hearing as soon as tomorrow. Butina has maintained her innocence and has been in jail since her arrest for illegally acting as a foreign agent. Right now, President Trump is defending payments made to 2 women who claim they had affairs with him more than a decade ago. On Twitter this morning, the president called it a simple private transaction, and he went on to say it was done correctly by a lawyer. The Justice Department accuses Mr. Trump of directing illegal payments to the women during the 2016 presidential campaign. Special counsel Robert Mueller and federal prosecutors released memos detailing evidence provided by the president's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Cohen alleges he acted at the direction of Mr. Trump to buy the silence of the alleged mistresses. One top House Democrat says the allegations could lead to impeachment proceedings and possible arrest after the president leaves office. President Trump's administration will have a new look in 2019 following more staffing shakeups. Trump is parting ways with White House Chief of Staff John Kelly at the end of the year and says he's interviewing candidates for the job. Vice President Mike Pence's Chief of Staff, Nick Ayers, was leading candidate to replace Kelly, but he withdrew this weekend.
We'll be announcing who will be taking John's place. It might be on an interim basis. I'll be announcing that over the next day or two.
Sources say the revised Chief of Staff shortlist includes North Carolina Congressman Mark Meadows, Office of Management and Budget Director Mick Mulvaney, and Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. A devastating weekend snowstorm that dropped as much as 20 inches of snow has crippled parts of the southeast. Meg Oliver reports from Fletcher, North Carolina, where the cleanup is now underway.
Highway and utility workers are scrambling to get roads and power lines up and running this morning after an early season snowstorm pounded the southeast. The wintry blast dropped more than a foot of snow across parts of the Carolinas, snarling traffic and stopping 18-wheelers in their tracks. Mike Ritchie spent the night in his truck after getting stranded on the side of the road.
What were the driving conditions like last night?
Terrible, terrible. That's why we had to pull over. I just called my work and told him, and he's like, well, you guys got to keep moving when it's snowing. I'm like, we couldn't. There's no way.
The weather turned deadly Sunday afternoon when police say a tree fell on a car in a Charlotte suburb, killing the driver. 100 miles away near Raleigh, a tree crashed onto an apartment building, sending 3 people to the hospital. Airports from Georgia to Virginia raced to keep taxiways clear and planes de-iced, while passengers inside the terminals face more than 1,800 cancellations. Hundreds more are expected today.
We stopped to get gas and we got back on the interstate, and as we got back on the interstate, the bus started to malfunction.
Lynn Clark was traveling with more than a dozen members of a missionary group when their bus broke down near Asheville. They huddled for more than 5 hours without power or heat at this truck stop, waiting for help to arrive.
We knew God was going to take care of us.
A local church shelter picked them up and took them in for the night. Now, Duke Energy is making progress. They have restored power to more than 330,000 customers since Saturday. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Fletcher, North Carolina.
Wisconsin residents affected by this summer's storms and flooding have 1 week to register for federal disaster assistance. The deadline is December 17th. For residents affected in Crawford, Dane, Juneau, La Crosse, Marquette, Richland, Sauk, or Vernon counties. You can register for federal assistance online at disasterassistance.gov, use the FEMA app, or call 800-621-3362. We'll have all of that information on our website, channel3000.com. Well, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Next, let's see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Ever wonder what Santa sips on when he gets back home to the North Pole? Stick around to find out. This is the time of year when lots of us are headed to some sort of get-together. Whether it's an office party or simply some old friends and neighbors getting together, signature cocktails have become a popular part of these gatherings. It seems that everyone has their favorites, whether it's fruity, savory, or even a dessert cocktail. One thing that many of you have asked us for is a holiday special cocktail that is Santa approved. Well, we came up with one that we know you'll love. It's a rum spritzer made with a splash of pomegranate juice and ruby red pomegranate seeds. You can even double or triple the recipe if you're expecting a big crowd. To get the recipe for what we call Santa Spritzer, all you have to do is visit our website. And if you do partake in a Santa Spritzer or any other type of adult beverage, please don't drink and drive. Make sure you have a designated driver or call a cab, Uber, or Lyft to get home safely. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Here's to enjoying responsibly so we can have a holiday season full of, ooh, it's so good.
We are still dealing with seasonably cold weather across southern Wisconsin, but we do have the sunshine out there today. Meteorologist Chris Reese will have your first alert forecast when we come back. This is News 3 at noon. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. The number to call is 608-270-2833. At the noon hour, this is the way stocks are looking. The Dow is down 315 points, NASDAQ down almost 28. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn today, so here are your latest farm numbers. And now meteorologist Chris Reese with a look at your forecast. Enjoying all that sunshine out there, Chris.
Yeah, plenty of sunshine out here this afternoon, Josh. It even makes things feel just a little good out here, although temperatures are certainly on the cooler side in the 20s for a lot of us. We do not have, however, the winter storm that they just dealt with across parts of the southeast. Here's how Weather Track shapes up for them right now. You still see a little bit of rain and snow finally beginning to come to an end across parts of the Carolinas, but really that's it when it comes to weather across the country. High pressure keeping things very quiet for most of us. That includes us here in south central Wisconsin. That's where temperatures right now are anywhere from about 5 to 12 degrees warmer than we were this time yesterday. 8 degrees warmer right now in Madison. That's where the temperature sits at 32 degrees right now, 30 for our friends at Janesville, Milwaukee at 33, Lone Rock at 31. Black River Falls still at 19 degrees, but that's okay. We still have plenty of sunshine for all of us. Winds are coming out of the south and southwest at 8 miles per hour, and that's what's really helping those temperatures be warm today. When you have a strong southwesterly wind, you can really see a spike in temperatures on some days, especially with added sunshine. That's exactly what we are seeing out there right now, folks. But that southwest wind does create a little bit of a wind chill, so it feels like 25, and standing outside right now, I can tell you, yeah, when the wind blows, it certainly feels just a little bit chilly, feeling like 11 in Camp Douglas right now. But air temperature-wise, we'll see those temperatures top out in the 30s this afternoon. Some cloud cover possible in the north. We are watching that, but I do think for the most part, it shouldn't completely make it into our area. Tonight, we'll see those lows in the low 20s instead of the low teens. And then into tomorrow, we'll see those temperatures in the 30s again. By tomorrow afternoon, you'll notice the cloud cover increasing once again. That's ahead of the next system that's going to be coming our way, and it has the potential to bring some snow to the area around rush hour. So that's why we're going to watch it closely. Here we are at 5:30 a.m. Wednesday. Pay attention to the western tier of the state. That's where you see a little bit of light snow developing, but then that light snow could increase in coverage and intensity as we go through the rush hour hours and before transitioning over to a period of a wintry mix as we head into the early afternoon and eventually coming to an end. Now, it does not look like a major deal at all, but nonetheless, that's rush hour, that's frozen precipitation. So we will certainly keep a close watch on that and let you guys know anything that you may need to know when it comes to that system. We'll also have another chance for some rain and snow as we go Thursday into Friday as well. We'll be watching that. But whether or not it snows or rains, temperatures will be going on to a pattern of above average for the next 8 to 14 days at least across pretty much all of the lower 48 and across the eastern half of the country. We do have a better chance of seeing above normal precipitation as well. So pay attention for our pattern to grow more active in the coming days, but still sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the 30s since we're already warmer than 31, 21 degrees tonight for the overnight low, and then we'll see more and more of those 30s showing up. Again, a wintry mix possible into Wednesday. By the time we get you towards next week, some of those temperatures could, keyword could, approach 40 degrees. We will certainly watch that heat wave potentially on the horizon, but of course we'll watch for any chances of rain and snow that show up as well, Josh.
Isn't how much that sun feels good this time of year.
Oh, yes, it does.
All right, Chris, thank you. Up next, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. The number to call is 270-9933. Keep watching News 3 at noon. We'll be right back. Welcome back at noon. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. The number to call is 270-9933. And what do we have in front of us here today?
We have some lovely holiday plants. Stephanotis, cyclamen is here, the pink, poinsettia, of course, and some hellebores. They're also called Christmas roses.
All right, and what are kind of the ways to keep those going this time of the year?
Depends on the plant. Like things like poinsettias, the more tropical plants will want sort of warmer temperatures, really high light. Things like cyclamen and the hellebores are good if you keep your house a little cooler. So just depends on the plant.
All right, we got a few callers here. We're going to start off first with Barb in Mineral Point talking about spider plants. Barb, what's your question?
My question is that I have a spider plant, and I've had it for a long time. In fact, I've repotted, but the ends always turn brown, the very ends of the spider plant.
Shirley, I have heard that if you maybe, especially when you're doing a lot of watering indoors with tap water, try letting your water settle overnight so that if it's like highly salted or you have a lot of minerals in the city water, that might help. So just put it in a pitcher and let the chemicals settle out of it, and then use the top part of that water to water your plants. That might help.
All right. Next up, we've got Shirley in Milton. Shirley, what's your question? Are you there, Shirley?
Oh, sure. Yes, I have a cyclamen plant, and I don't know what to do with it. Didn't get any instructions.
Okay. Well, we have this really pretty pale pink cyclamen right here. Cyclamen like a bright light, but cooler temperatures. So if you have like an eastern window or someplace like that, or if you have a room that you keep a little cooler than the rest of your house, that would be a perfect place for them. The flowers will last a long time.
All right. Next up, we've got David and Roxbury talking about growing with light of veggies. David, what's your question?
Hi. Yes, I was wondering if it is necessary to have a grow light to start vegetable seedlings, or if I can just set them on the south side by a window.
If you put them by a window, you might notice if they start to sort of lean over a little bit that you're going to want to flip your trays around. Otherwise, they get leggy because they're growing toward the light. So grow lights are good because you can adjust them and have them really close to the seedlings, and it'll make for better branched plants.
All right. Next up, we've got Tate and Madison and talking about mulching. Tate, what's your question?
I'm in the process of planting a new flower bed for next year, and I'm trying to figure out I used to have tree bark mulch beforehand, but I'm trying to find a new medium that's lower maintenance, and I'm trying to figure out which is the best.
Well, for my flower beds, I like to use the bark mulch. I get something that's a little more finely ground, and as it decomposes, I just can top dress it. Once your bed starts to really grow into itself, you'll find that you'll have fewer weeds. As far as other choices are concerned, a lot of people really like cocoa beans. I tend not to like the rock mulches for flower beds. It's hard on the plants. It makes the soil really warm, and I think that especially if you have perennials that will increase in size, it makes it a little difficult for the new growth to sort of come up through the rocks.
All right, and I think that's our caller. Looks like we got one more here. Dennis and Beloit talking about asparagus. Dennis, what's your question?
Well, I'd like to know how to keep all the weeds out of asparagus, what you could put down that wouldn't hurt the asparagus.
For asparagus, you can use bark mulch. You can also use like good clean hay or chopped straw. You can put a pretty fairly thick mulch down. If you have access to it and your bed is pretty clean this year, you could try and put down maybe some organic compost or something. Asparagus beds can be pretty heavy feeders, and they'd certainly appreciate that.
All right, and that's our time for now. Lisa, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll send it over to Chris for a final check of the forecast. Chris?
That's right. We still have plenty of sunshine out there. Expect those temperatures, though, to top out into the low and mid-30s for those highs this afternoon. Sunshine will continue as we head into your Wednesday or your Tuesday as well, with temperatures into the low 30s. By Wednesday, we will have a chance of a wintry mix coming into the picture. We'll have to watch that because that could mean some frozen precipitation early on Wednesday, right around the rush hour. So stay tuned for more details as that comes into picture. We'll also have a slight chance of a mix on Friday, but still plenty of sunshine and temperatures in the 30s beyond that.
All right, Chris, thank you. We'll see you again live at 4.
Make Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.